Looking for a French city that's not just tourist pretty, but actually livable and functions like a high-tech metropolis? Today I'm in Strasbourg, an extremely charming Alsatian city known for half-timbered houses and Christmas markets. I'm Susie, I'm American, and I've lived in Dijon, France since 2008. And today I'm here in Strasbourg to learn more about what makes the city tick. The trams, bike lanes, neighborhoods, real estate, and more, to try to see what it might be like to live here. As the capital of the Grand Est region and the historic heart of Alsace, Strasbourg sits right on the German border, a place where cultures don't just meet, they mix. While it's the 8th largest city in France with a population of about 290,000, it feels more like a global village. It's officially a capital of Europe because it houses the European Parliament, which gives it an international pulse that you just don't find in many other medium-sized French cities. Walking through the center, I heard French, German, English, and Spanish all blending into the background of this high-functioning hub. I didn't specifically catch any Alsatian, the local Germanic dialect, but I'm not sure I would have recognized it anyway. In terms of rankings, in the brand new 2026 Arthur Lloyd rankings, Strasbourg was ranked the 4th best large metropolis in France, behind Montpellier, Rennes, and Grenoble. On the comparison website Ville de Rêve, it gets high marks for accessibility and transportation, but ranks 12th out of 20th among big French cities. And a fun fact, it's actually twinned with my hometown of Boston. So while Strasbourg definitely has the vestiges of its medieval past, it runs on a 21st century operating system and has a very modern, progressive approach to, for example, public transportation and bike infrastructure. If you want a car-free life, it would absolutely be possible here. Strasbourg has incredible public transport, notably its extensive tram network. And you know how I feel about trams. The tram system here is one of the largest in France, and it's still growing. They just added 8 new stations to the west, and there are more plans to expand the network even more in the next few years. For the tram, it costs €1.90 per ride, and here's a crucial tip. You need to buy your tickets from a distributor, and you must validate your ticket at these red terminals on the platform before you board. CTS is the name of the transportation network, and I downloaded the app, but to be honest, I couldn't really figure out how to pay with the app. I still find Dijon's pay-to-tap system for the tram much easier. In Dijon, you can just get on the tram and pay with your phone. No need to buy a paper ticket, validate anything ahead of time, or have a specific app on your phone. Whereas in Strasbourg, it was a little bit more confusing. However, I loved seeing the tram gliding over bridges, all the different fun models and colors of the tram. And it seems like it's even possible to take your bike on the tram, which we definitely can't do here in Dijon. Speaking of biking, with over 600 kilometers of bike paths, Strasbourg has a bikeability score of B, favorable, on the Bike Score website. It's the first really good one I've seen in all of our recent travels. The public bikes in Strasbourg are called Vélhop, and they have long-term rental options and short-term rental options, which was perfect for us since we were there for a weekend. So we decided to test it out while we were there. So in terms of the process, I downloaded the Vélhop app, and I had to pay a €1 fee to link my bank account to the app, and then I was off. I couldn't rent 2 bikes with my account, though, so my husband had to download the app separately himself. So, however, unlike the public bikes here in Dijon, which are called Vélo D, in Strasbourg, you have to return your short-term rental Vélhop to the same station where you started from, which seemed like it could be inconvenient. We got bikes at this sheltered station by Place Breuil, which was great because they were dry. And it cost €1.20 an hour to rent the bikes. The experience of biking in Strasbourg was very good. They have many separated bike paths, though sometimes it was a bit confusing. Since we didn't have helmets, biking in unprotected lanes was a bit unnerving, but overall we could tell that Strasbourg was still miles ahead of most French cities when it came to biking infrastructure. We used the bikes on Saturday to get a feel for the city, biking by the American consulate, where we've gone in the past to get our kids' U.S. passports renewed because we have to do that in person. And it was more convenient than driving to Paris, for example. or taking the train to Paris even. And we also biked by the Parc de la Citadelle and to Boston Street for the photo op. And at one point, we actually locked them up outside the Cathedral, the cathedral, and we left them there with the clock, the rental clock running so that we could go into the cathedral. And then we came back out and picked our bikes up after we were done visiting the cathedral. But using the Vélhop bikes turned out to be so easy that we wound up using them again on Saturday night. We picked them up from a different station from the train station that time because it turned out that the Vélhop bikes were just the best, easiest option for us to get from our Airbnb downtown to the restaurant where we were having dinner in Schiltigheim. In terms of train connections, we walked into the very cool central train station and took a look at train options. Direct fast trains to Paris that take an hour and 45 minutes cost about 83 euros. Trains direct to Roissy-Charles de Gaulle Airport take about 2 hours and cost 69 euros. And I also noticed a train to Munich that took 4 hours and cost 108 euros. But all those prices were last minute and full price, no discounts. So I assume it's possible to find better deals if you plan ahead. But CDG isn't your only airport option. Strasbourg actually has its own airport, and I saw that there were flights to destinations in France and Spain, even in January. And you're also not too far from the very practical Bâle-Mulhouse airport as well. Plus, there's Cities here, the car sharing program. In fact, there are a lot of Cities vehicles, so that if you need a car for a day trip or an errand, you can sign up for Cities and you can rent a car that way. It's very practical and easy. And if you do wind up needing to drive, according to the TomTom Traffic Index, Strasbourg ranks 15th in France in terms of traffic. And to get around downtown, your feet can do the trick as well. A lot of the downtown area was pedestrianized or had very little car traffic. The city scores quite well on the Walkable Cities Score Index, getting an overall score of C, relatively favorable, and ranking second in its category behind Rennes. It was very pleasant walking around downtown with a few little exceptions we happened to capture, like this car approaching me very quickly from behind when I thought I was in a pedestrian area. And here I am waiting at a crosswalk for cars to let me cross the street. No cars stopped for me, probably because I have a bike. I'm holding my bike, but I'm still technically a pedestrian, right? So that's a bit frustrating, but I have to say it's pretty typical in France. So overall, Strasbourg is definitely above average for France in terms of transportation accessibility, but still with plenty of room for improvement. Something called the droit local provides a few extra perks to people living in Alsace. Because this region was under German administration from 1871 to 1918, they kept some superior social benefits when they were officially reintegrated back into France. In the rest of France, basic healthcare is reimbursed at 70%. In Alsace, the Bas-Rhin and the Haut-Rhin department, and in the Moselle department, it's 90%. So people in these départements pay about 1.5% higher Sécurité Sociale contributions, but they get more coverage. And their mutuelle, their supplementary insurance policies that serve as top-ups to cover the gap that's not paid by the government social security system, are usually a bit cheaper here. Plus, there are 2 extra paid holidays, Good Friday and December 26th. So in terms of healthcare, in addition to standard healthcare being covered 90% as opposed to 70% coverage in the rest of France, there's a big university teaching hospital here. And if we look at this map, we can see that as of 2016 anyway, there was a higher than average number of GPs per capita in the Bas-Rhin Département 67, where Strasbourg is located. And there is also a higher concentration of medical specialists as well. So let's talk about real estate. Quality city living often comes at a price. Real estate prices in Strasbourg have jumped 163% in 20 years compared to the national average of about 105%. In the historic city center, you're looking at paying roughly 3,800 euros per square meter if you want to buy an apartment, according to mayoragent.com. Compare that to about 2,600 euros per square meter in Dijon. Strasbourg is about 41% more expensive. A 1,000 euro monthly loan or mortgage gets you 47 square meters here in Strasbourg, which is the same as Rennes and similar to Marseille and Montpellier. I checked Le Bon Coin, the French equivalent of Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, to get an idea of some specific listings, and I found quite a few that, despite being maybe more expensive than what I'm used to, looked very nice and relatively affordable. Here are a few examples to buy. This apartment for 289,500 euros, 92 square meters. That comes out to 3,147 euros per square meter, a bit below average. And then this one, 349,000 euros, 84 square meters, which comes out a bit above average at 4,155 euros per square meter. And then I also checked rentals as well. And here are a few that caught my eye: 750 euros for a furnished apartment, 51 square meters, 890 euros, an unfurnished apartment that was 60 square meters, and 950 euros for a furnished apartment of 51 square meters. According to the tensiomètre locatif, the rental market is quite tense or tendu, and it's very difficult to find a rental. But when I looked on Le Bon Coin, I did see quite a few options. So again, maybe you just kind of have to get lucky to find something that's decent and affordable. There did seem to be plenty of options for places that were for rent and for sale. So in terms of green spaces and air quality, Strasbourg is often ranked as one of the greenest cities in France, and we did see lots of parks and trees. But there is a big issue when it comes to air quality. It ranks 60th out of 68 based on the European City Air Quality Viewer. And while we were there last weekend, the air pollution was so high that the city announced free public transport for the next day to get cars off the road. And I appreciate the city's efforts to control the pollution, but this could definitely be concerning for people with respiratory issues, for example. So it's a continental climate in Strasbourg, hot summers, cold winters. It was very cold when we were there, and here I am trying to stay warm while we wait for the tram. But it was January, so that's winter, I guess. According to this map, Strasbourg is less foggy than what I'm used to in Dijon, but it was very gray while we were there. I don't know if it was just fog or actually smog, but it was quite gray. And according to this map, they also have fewer hours of sunlight than what we're used to in Dijon. So that's something to take into consideration as well. With over 50,000 students, the city feels young, and all those students probably add to the international flair and feeling of the city as well. We saw university buildings in different parts of the city and also concentrated in one sort of specific campus area that we biked through as well. And we just stumbled on this local market on Saturday morning and saw a huge selection of mouth-watering pastries displayed beautifully in many pastry shops all over the city as well. We'll talk more about food in just a minute. In terms of touristy activities, we couldn't pass up a quick visit to the Cathedral Notre Dame, a masterpiece of Gothic architecture built from distinctive pink sandstone. We made sure to catch the astronomical clock at 12:30. Every day at 12:30, the clock's mechanical figures perform a parade where the 12 apostles pass before Christ, while a full-size mechanical rooster flaps its wings and crows 3 times. It was quite the spectacle. But there's also lots more to do in Strasbourg in terms of museums, boat visits, plus more historical sites and parks to explore. While the tourist score for Strasbourg is lacking some data, the data that we do have here makes it look like tourism does have a relatively significant impact on people's lives, at least in the downtown historic city center. High season for tourism is around the famous Christmas markets in, I think, late November and through the month of December, and then also in the warmer months. We were there in January and things felt relatively calm, although there were still plenty of other tourists, especially at the 12:30 chiming of the astronomical clock. Local people that we spoke with kept telling us that we should come back in the nicer months, which we will definitely try to do. But I also think it's good to get an idea of what a place is like all year round, so I don't regret going in January. We stayed in an adorable Airbnb right in La Petite France on Rue des Dentelles, and our host lived right next door, so we got to chat with him a bit about the building we were staying in, which was very cool. And for those of you who enjoy hearing about our culinary adventures, here's a little info about our weekend. For food on Friday night, we stayed nearby and we went to the Kitchen Bar, which had great vibes, great local vibes. On Saturday morning, we couldn't pass up a chance to try some apple streusel. I'm not sure if this is technically a breakfast food, but it was delicious. We wanted to try some. On Saturday for lunch, we had tarte flambée. a local specialty at a place called Binstube. It was so yummy and such a great little vibe in there as well, very cozy. On Saturday night, we rode our Vélhop bikes out to Schiltinghem. I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing all of these words incorrectly, I'm sure. We went to the Fischerstube, which is a brewery, a restaurant attached to the brewery of Fischer beer. And we had Alsatian specialties, whose names I will now also butcher. We had a Bibelkäse, creamy white cheese dip with garlic and herbs served over potatoes, and Grumbeerkäsle, crispy, lacy potato pancakes. Everything was really good. And Sunday morning, we stumbled into this little brunch spot called Le Pro Café Nist, and we had this very hearty, copious brunch. It was great. Between the food and the fairy tale half-timbered houses, it's easy to see why people fall in love with this place. And also, I just wanted to note that we found the restaurants to be very affordable. Maybe I was imagining it, but we were not making a special effort to choose inexpensive restaurants or cheap food. And yet every time the bill came, I thought, wow, is that all? So it was just an amazing experience in Strasbourg. We really had a great time. So the verdict on Strasbourg, it's for you if you want a car-free international life with world-class infrastructure, connected to Paris and international airports, but still a manageable size. We absolutely loved it here. This is exactly my type of city. Walkable, bikeable, accessible, and vibrant. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if there's anything significant that I missed, please do share. And if you're thinking about moving to France and you'd like to run your plans by someone who's done it, I've opened up a few consultation spots, and the information is in the link in the video description below. There's also a link below to my free newsletter in which I share more practical information about life here in France. Want to compare Strasbourg to other French cities like Nancy and Reims? Check out this playlist that contains other videos that we've made on comparable French cities. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next time, à bientôt!